Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Goodrich Chronicles. I am your host, Anthony Goodrich, and I want you to imagine something in this day and age we all need to be concerned about. Imagine being a U.S. citizen, a Susan homemaker, you and your mom at home just doing your thing. All of a sudden, ICE comes to look for you. They come and take you out of your home. They handcuff you. They stick you in the back of the car, talking about we're going to go arrest you because we have a warrant for your arrest, but they're not showing you a warrant. But you're in the back of an SUV with your mom and two other ICE agents. Now imagine this. You're on your way to getting locked up after they done treated you like shit. And then one of the ICE agents starts to have a seizure. And one of the women that is handcuffed told the other ICE agents to unhandcuff her because they need to save this man's life, otherwise he's gonna die. Because obviously these other ICE agents have no training in what to do. So dig this. They let these two women out of the car, unhandcuffed them, right? Let one of the women perform medical duties on this ICE agent who was apparently choking on his tongue in the middle of a seizure. It's in Minnesota. It's below zero, cold outside, okay? And do you know that these two ICE agents that are watching their partner damn near die aren't really doing anything to help? They have to be coaxed and guided by the woman and her mother on what to do next. Now check this out. They leave the doors open. They leave this woman exposed to the ICE agent's weapons. She literally had to take this ICE agent's gun off his waist to perform a medical procedure. Really? Now, good on her, because we should all be taking care of each other. But what about the lack of training that these ICE agents claim, or that they do it, lack of training that they have? They claim that they are being trained very well. But this is not what training is about when you have prisoners in your car and you unhandcuff them and you allow them to perform medical procedures on one of your colleagues, right? That ain't the worst part. The worst part is they still took these women to jail. They still charged them. I don't even know what they charged them with. They don't even know what they've been charged with. I'm completely taken back by this. How are we living in a society today where goons could just come in your house or pull you over and just snatch you up like a bunch of kidnappers? Because that's what they're doing. That's what they acted like. And that's exactly what kidnapping is. Taking someone against their own will. Claim your authority, but you have no paperwork to back it up. Check out this video.
They say they rendered medical aid to a federal agent who took them into custody. They believe he was having a seizure. In an interview with the Minnesota Star-Tribune, Tippy Amundsen and Heather Zeman said they were sitting handcuffed in the back of a law enforcement SUV headed for ICE headquarters in the Twin Cities when one of the agents in the car began to suffer that medical emergency.
And that's when the women jumped into action, acting as first responders to guide agents through, as Joe mentioned, what they recognized as a seizure. Amundsen and Zeman were advised by their attorneys not to talk about why they were being held. But we know this incident happened in an area called Brooklyn Park. Well, the city of Brooklyn Park told our Twin Cities affiliate that 911 was called for a seizure in progress. That city, that suburb of Minneapolis, has been the site of recent immigration enforcement operations and anti-ICE operations as well, those protests.
Tippy and Heather join us now to talk more about this. Before we get started, we want to note NBC News did reach out to the Department of Homeland Security for comment on this story. We did not immediately hear back. Our affiliate CARE reached out last Friday. It has not yet heard back, but we do want to hear your account about what happened that day. Tippy, we should note, this was last Thursday, a couple days before Alex Preddy was shot. That was on Saturday. Start just by quickly walking us through the moments you first realized something was wrong. You say you were in that SUV, handcuffed, other agents were there. Then what did you notice?
Well, we saw him, I saw him start to lean back, and then he said out loud, well, not really loud, very softly, that he was not feeling very well. And then his arms started to shake, and then Tippy jumped in.
It became obviously aware to me, or I was very aware of the emergency situation that was happening, but the driver, the other ICE agent, and the other ICE agent behind us did not seem to be aware that it was happening and that it was an emergency. So I quickly asked them to pull over, uncuff me, and let me help him, because we could hear his tongue and the fluids in his mouth begin to sound like they were going to be aspirated into his body, and I was worried that he was going to stop breathing. I knew from minimal training that I have on being on the emergency response team when I was a kindergarten teacher, that I needed to get him into the recovery position, keep him warm, and keep him calm. So they did that. They pulled over, they uncuffed me, let me run around the vehicle. They began to uncuff Heather. And then I got to his side and I told him that he was going to be okay. I had to move his service weapon from his hip to the front of his body to be able to get him into the recovery position. And then I just held his head up so that he could have a clear airway. I spoke to him and I asked him his name. I told him that he was going to be safe and that I was going to stay there until EMS arrived. Heather got the other ICE agents to call 911, and then they were on their way.
They had to be told.
But we had to guide them through every step of this process and every step of the emergency situation that we were in. And they left their vehicle open. They left us with this incapacitated officer. They left us with his weapon. They left us in a situation where it just struck me that this is not how law enforcement should be conducting themselves and should be allowing detainees access to all of these things. And as I just stood there, finally coming like aware of the situation, holding this man's head, looking around like, oh my goodness, this is all happening, number one, and that I'm holding this man's head and his fellow ICE agents would not do the same
They
thing
left
for
the
me.
car. I had to grab a tactical vest to put under his head. I had to go and over the seat and dig in the back of the vehicle to get things to warm him up. I had to tell them to shut the door. Body heat is important to keep in a situation like this, especially in the weather conditions we were having that day.
And we're doing all of this having just witnessed how Renee Good was treated, a mom just like us, a woman just like us, a couple weeks prior, not receiving the care that she should have received. And it was just very, the whole thing is just unsettling. And it's hard to imagine a situation where they have to care for their own agent or another detainee in emergency situation.
And not only that, I mean, people need to be aware of the incompetency. These agents couldn't have had basic training for emergency response.
Tippy
I mean, we
and
have
Heather,
minimal experience.
also on that note, I mean, what an account of what happened, but also what happened between you and these federal agents when this medical event was over, after you had given this person help when no one else even could have. What happened after?
Well, they handcuffed us again and to transfer us to another vehicle. And we're like, seriously? Like, we just helped you in this emergency. You're still going to take us to the Whipple building? And they did.
Yeah.
They did.
On the way there, I asked when we were going to receive our phone call to call our lawyer, and they said that we should receive a call at the Whipple building, but they weren't aware of the current policies there. And then ultimately they asked if we had one lawyer we could call together, we could call from the car. So we were able to call somebody from the car, and they were already on their way coming to get us.
Very quickly, to the best of your knowledge, have you been charged with anything at this point?
Yes.
Yeah, we have. We received citations in the Whipple building. We're not even confident on all of the numbers. This is not our world. This is.
Well, you can't even read the citation. It's one of them triplicate forms.
Yeah, it's a But yes, we have legal counsel, a federal lawyer from here in Minnesota that is assisting us with that part of it, but we haven't heard anything yet.
Can you believe that? Now that's plain Jane and Susie Homemaker. They ain't no damn terrorist. Is this what we're spending our time on? Wasting our money on? This woman literally saved a kidnapper's life. But they still treated her as if she was second class. Can you believe this? I mean, every day that I wake up, I am becoming more and more disappointed in humanity. It's just crazy how we're treating each other. Regardless to if you're a police officer, ICE officer, a Marine, I don't give a damn. There's a thing that is called discretion. And every police officer has it. Use it. There's no need to treat people the way that you're doing. Dragging them out of their house, dragging them out of their cars. You know what? I remember back in the day, back in the 80s, there was a tactic that the local police would use to lure criminals that they wanted so that they could arrest them. And you wouldn't hear anything about it till after it was over. And nobody was getting hurt. No families were being ripped apart. And here's what they would do. They would find out who these individuals were, find out where they live, and then put a bogus winning spree out there saying that they won this television or that they won this amount of money or they have a prize for them to come pick up. And then when they come to pick it up, that's when they snatch them up. What happened to those days? You know what I'm saying? That's what we need to get back to. Because I didn't even know any of that was going on until after I saw it on the news. I'm like, well, but you didn't hear no one getting shot, stabbed, or killed prior to that. No, they plotted, they planned, came up with a game, executed it, and people got arrested. And they did whatever they wanted to after that with them. Rather they got deported or they just sat in jail for however long. But why are we doing what we're doing? People are dying for no reason. Anyways, you all could have been anywhere in the world, but you chose to spend some time with me, and for that, I will always be grateful. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Goodrich Chronicles. I am your host, Anthony Goodrich, signing off.